Shim and the enthusiasts, how are you doing? Welcome back. I hope you're well and I hope you're having a great day. In today's video, I'm going to be fitting the transfer casing back on the engine and gearbox. But before I do that, I need to fit the primary gear back on, which means it needs shimming up to get the right tolerance. And then once it's shimmed up, I'll be needing to fit a new primary gear oil seal. I'm going to be using a special tool to do that because without this tool, you can damage the seal. So I'm going to take you through step by step how I do that. So I hope you enjoyed today's video. Let's get stuck into it. Right, so a job I've got to do here is check my primary gear and measure the end float. So by end float, the amount it moves up and down. So it's adjustable through a shim at the back here. You can get these in different thicknesses. The end float should be 3 to 6 thou, so we'll be aiming for somewhere in the middle. So I'll just start by making sure that sort of thrust washer is nicely fitted. We'll then fit the primary gear, and I'm just going to give it a little bit of a wiggle because there is a little bit of, you get a little bit of play in the bushes here as well. That doesn't feel excessive to me. The difficult bit is when you measure it. I don't have a DTI gauge, so I'm going to be doing it with a couple of feeler gauges. Now this horseshoe washer can go in 2 ways round. It can go in that way, or we can turn it round and it can go in that way. So when I measure it, I'm actually going to measure and then turn around and just make sure it doesn't change. So there we go, and I'm going to be measuring the gap up the top here. So I need 2 sets of feeler gauges for that, and I am going to start, well, let's start on the upper end of the clearance, which is 6 thou. So there we got 6 thou feeler gauge in there. That goes in quite easily. That's right, so we've got one side in, 6 thou, that went in quite easily. Let's just put it in the other side because it could be tilting over. Depending how much wear it is will be how much tilt you've got. So, and then I've got my second 6 thou feeler gauge. So that moves around quite freely with 6 thou on each side, so the gap is bigger than 6 thou, I'd say. So let's go up to 8 thou. So again, 8 thou goes in comfortably on one side. Let's just get 2 8 thous in there. Apparently when they built these endings, they didn't take too much care in what thrust washer you got in these. So 8 thou on one side. And 8 thou on the other. Again, that's probably just about, I would say that's quite close now. So let's go up to 10 thou. That's 10 thou in one side, okay. The 10 thou feeler is different coloured. So 10 thou in both sides is very tight, too tight. So that I would say is a 9 thou gap. Now what I'm going to do, I'm just going to rotate this here because these might not be perfect either, and we'll try again at 10. Yeah, again very tight at 10 thou. So I would say our gap there is 9 thou. So I know I've got a 9 thou gap. or 9 thou clearance. I need to measure up my thrust washer now, and I need, so if there's 9 thou clearance, and I ideally want about 4. So I need a thrust washer that is 5 thou thicker than this. This measures 115 thou. So I need 5 thou bigger, so I need 120 thousandths of an inch thrust washer. Again, I'm just going to scribble that down, so because I will forget it. Memory like a sieve, me. So if I get a 120 thou thrust washer, that should give me 4 thou clearance. Right, so I've just had a look. The primary gear shims, 24 quid each, including the VAT. So they list them, the size ranges a little bit. It looks like 118 thou to 120, or 120 to 122. So if I go for the 118 to 120 thou, that will give me 4 to 6 thou gap, which is going to be ideal, because if I go for the 120 to 122, that's going to be a 2 to 4 thou gap. Now 2 thou will be too tight, so 4 to 6 thou will be ideal. So I will order that one. Hopefully it's in stock. It is. So we'll stick that in the basket and get that on its way. Right, next little job, I'm going to be fitting the oil pump. Just a quick question for anyone that already had a supercharged Mini. These tappet chest covers, do you have to get a different type without the breather on? Because I'm not sure that's going to clear pulleys and that sort of thing. If you've got a supercharged Mini, VMAX superchargers kit, please let me know. And these tappet chest covers, for anyone out there, that is just like the bolt, and then there's like a plastic collar, and then just the rubber seal. You can't get them up very tight because it just squashes the rubber out too far. Am I doing that right? Anyway, the oil pump. So this is all nice and clean on here now before we fit the oil pump on. Now the oil pump I'm going to be going for, this is a Mini Spares product, but it is a AC Dodd zero tolerance oil pump. So it comes from Mini Spares. They're quite good quality from what I understand anyway, compared to some others, but then it's been completely stripped down, all the tolerances checked, and if it needs any machining work, just cleaning up edges, deburring things, etc., checking the clearance inside the pump, that's all been done by AC Dodd, so I know that's been done correctly. Now if you want to do it yourself, AC does have a really good guide on how to do this, but there's just some equipment that he has that I don't, such as a lathe, for instance, if it needs refacing. So this is my pump. Not that expensive, to be honest, in the grand scheme of things. A brand new one from Mini Spares is about 20 quid. This one is obviously a Mini Spares one, and then it's been reworked. So I paid £60 for this, which is, I don't think it's a bad price for such a important piece of kit within your engine. People think nothing about spending hundreds and hundreds of pounds on performance parts. Well, don't skimp on the oil pump, because yeah, you need oil pressure. Without it, your engine doesn't last very long. So we're going to fit this. We've got a new gasket. Make sure you get the gasket the right way around, because you can get it the wrong way around. Let me just show you. I'll put it the wrong way around. So if you look where the holes are, so you line it up with that bottom hole and the bolt holes, that's the correct way. If I just fish it out, so turn it 180 degrees, put it that way, so the bolt holes still line up. Oh, they don't actually. So yeah, you'll see it's covering up the oil channels there. So yeah, make sure it goes the right way around. And I'm not going to be putting any gasket sealer on there, because the last thing we want is silicone gasket sealer inside the pump. So before we go on, I am going to be priming the pump up just with a little bit of oil. I'm sure it would have been oiled up anyway when it was zero tolerance. We're just going to put a little bit of oil in there. But before we start the engine, before we even turn it over, we're going to kind of reverse prime that pump. Now you can do it through the feed which goes to the oil filter, and you can rotate the engine backwards so it fully primes up the oil filter. We don't want it cranking over with no oil in there. So we can fit this, and the priming will be done at a later stage. I've cleaned up my hardware. We're going to be putting thread lock on the bolts and torqued up to 11 Newton meters in my application, but check yours. Once again, I had to get the glasses out because I can't read that torque wrench. So let's get that fitted. Right, so I've primed up my pumps, got some nice sticky oil there in there. We then need to make sure the slot drive matches up, which it does. Make sure our bolts are in the right place. Let's get the gasket centered. There we go. I've got my thread lock on there, so we're ready to go. There we go. Just to mention, if you do want an AC Dodd zero tolerance oil pump, you can get them from Ross at Thomas Classic and Modern. Now just to torque it up. Lovely jubbly. Okay guys, apologies. This was about a week and a half later and the correct size shim turned up from Mini Spares. I accidentally time warped this video, so I thought I'd add some narration. So I'm just measuring it up there again. Interestingly, the measurements, the temperature was very, very different when I fitted this to when I measured it up a week and a half ago. It was sort of high 20s, probably 30 degrees in the garage. And the shims were reading sort of 1 thou thicker. So I guess that would have just been the temperature difference, which is why they list a tolerance. Mini Spares, like I say, listed 118 to, or sorry, 118 thou to 120 thou. So in the end, I ended up with about, it was a loose 4 and a tight 5 thou. So probably about 4.5 thou end flow on that primary gear, which is within tolerance. And obviously now I've fitted the transfer case back on, new gasket on there, sealed it up with a light amount of gasket sealer, Reinzer seal. Right, so we're ready to fit our primary gear seal now. Now, you can just fit this by hand, but prone to leak if you do. I've fitted them by hand before. There is a special tool to fit them, and I've borrowed this off Mark, so thanks Mark. This fits over the primary gear on the inside, so it ensures that you don't damage the inside of the seal when going down onto the primary gear. It's got a chamfered edge here, and then the cup goes over the top, and that's got a locating step in there, so it sets the seal in at the perfect sort of depth and make sure it's square as well. So I've got my seal here. Now, as with all things minis, it can get quite confusing. So they do a seal up to 1992, and then for after 1992 for carburetted and injected cars, they do an upgraded seal, which I think is Viton rubber, and it says about the spring being a little bit further inwards. Now my car, being registered 92, would have been built 91. So what'd you go for? It says the later one is better, but the good thing about mini spares is they do quite detailed descriptions when you click through. And mini spares actually say that, so you have the original one pre-1992, you have the 1992 after, which is meant to be better, but then mini spares say they have a better one than that, which is the 13H2934MS. So it's a mini spares spec product. So that is the one I've got here. It's meant to be the best of all those three, I think. But as you can see, if you're trying to fit that, you've got to get over the splines in the primary, which you could damage the seal. So using our cup first means it will go over there without damaging it. We are just going to grease this up with rubber grease, quite liberal amounts of it. We don't want to damage anything. And yeah, I'll probably put it onto time lapse and just get on with it. So that is our primary shaft seal, perfectly fitted. It'll be perfectly aligned, no damage going in. I have just realised I torqued down all these bolts. I didn't put thread lock on them. They did have thread lock originally, so I'm just going to undo them all again one by one, dab a bit of thread lock on them. I wonder how many people over the years have forgotten to put that back on. You've done a clutch job, clearing away at the end, and then find that. I bet a few have. Let me know in the comments if you have. That all feels very nice and tight.